you I had a bombshell and it's gonna be a surprise.
It's coming, yeah?
Drop it on us.
I'm gonna. Hi guys, welcome to the Inside Scoop. This is a place where Gen Zs and Millennials come to hash it out, vibe, and make sense of this mess we're calling life. I'm your host, Mararo. Very soft-spoken,
True.
but very opinionated.
Facts.
I'm here to keep it real, and with me, I have my Millennials.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am David Chibirige, communications practitioner. That is what I do for Mesha, for Samali. And son of the East African soil, and passionate about very many things, as you will come to learn in this here little podcast of ours. So, yes.
And I am Lenana Faraj, political scientist, writer, blogger, and musician. Follow me at El Shaka. That's where the tunes are. Yeah. Also, self-proclaimed humorist. So if you hear good jokes, bad jokes, they're all from me. And you can't be using them, but they will copyright my jokes.
Self-proclaimed. Emphasis on the self-proclaimed. He has insisted upon that title. He's insisted upon that. Self-proclaimed.
Yo, but before we dive in, can you all take a breath? The topic today might step on your neck or tickle your brain, depending on what side of the internet you live on. So we're just gonna dive right in and
yes,
guys.
Should I?
Guys.
Yeah, tell us.
Guys.
The elephant in the room.
I'ma just talk about the elephant in the fucking country.
Ndovu ni kuu.
Yeah?
The political state of the country, it's been crazy the past 2 years. The past year or so in the country. I feel like there's been a lot of protests, mandamano, focused on Gen Z.
Right.
Yeah, and with all that got me thinking, like, everything has been so Gen Z focused of late.
Right.
And I'm like, have millennials been missing in the action, or did we just steal the spotlight?
We just blended in the background.
I mean,
like, what's going on, guys?
First and foremost, me and Chibirike, we were there during the 25th.
Freedom fighters. Certified freedom fighters.
Yeah, the financial bill thing, we were there. We took tear gas. I messed up slogans. I don't know if you remember the slogan I was doing. Tunaenda wapi? Tunaenda bunge. And then I was like, hey guys, were like, hey, this guy's Kiswahili was bad. Then Mushiri took over and started doing the slogans. So we were there, like a lot of us came. We came in numbers because Gen Z and millennials are usually like brothers and sisters, just that we are the older brothers with knee issues from here to there, some back issues. Mostly David though.
Someone say that millennials were then so that Gen Z could work.
I don't know, that's cap.
Like that.
That's cap.
Millennials work
Nobody
so
has
that
ever,
Gen Z
nobody
could
has ever
run.
said that.
I think I've heard that.
So
around.
millennials were there during the financial bill process, and we were also like, there. We just didn't. I don't know how many, what the numbers look like, and then we didn't party with you guys after. You know, you guys went and partied sherehe. You ninjas had energy to party after protesting.
TikTok for days.
We had to go and drink like green tea after all that tear gassing. Hey, you guys went and had like dinners. What? So now the age gap means that we had different things to do at different times. Even guys are in a lot of dead end jobs as millennials. We know the finance bill are going to hurt us. So we have to also be there, but I just don't think it was our movement. I think the Gen Zs led it. You guys are the technology guys. You guys were born with phones. As we were born with, you remember pages?
I mean,
and colored phones.
How old are we, bro?
Let me ask you a question.
Pages.
You are there with the first colored phone.
Pages.
310.
I mean, I do remember pages. My parents had pages, but I didn't have a pager.
But
like,
what the hell are pages?
And therein lies the divide between the Gen Zs and the millennials.
These guys grew up when phones were already there.
Yeah, true.
We got the first colored phones, and we know people were using them for certain things. We were not going to say who and what. When color came, people were using them for what.
Yeah, but back to the matter. I think what she's asked is it's something that I've also taken issue with, because I don't see it as being looking for the distinction between whether it was a Gen Z-led movement or whether millennials were in it, I think it should be more of, let's look at it as the youth stood up. The youth, who are the biggest demographic in this country of ours, finally stood up. And for a long time, they've always been this discussion about how there's voter apathy between the youth who don't give a damn, so to say, about politics. It's always been like, maze, me politics, maze, yo shit any bambi, and that's been existent between, and more so I think the millennials. There, I think I do agree with you in terms of that divide, because for the most part, millennials, we used to just speak and rant on Twitter. And I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm very guilty of that.
You're
because
a pandit.
yes, if you follow any of my socials, like I said, I'm very passionate about governance. That's one of the things I'm very passionate about, in equity and equality. Anyway, so for the most part, us millennials took a back seat in the beginning. And I'd like to say that the Gen Zs emboldened us, because when I saw my younger sister talking about going onto the streets,
Facts.
I'm like, bro, and I'm just chilling, sitting on my fucking hands in the house. Nah, like I'm just a Twitter warrior, a keyboard warrior. That was not going to be what I do. So I think we actually had the chat together.
Yeah, we did.
Made a group on WhatsApp, like the old people we are.
Yeah,
Made a group on
we were
WhatsApp.
very organized. We even had water. We had masks.
I got my inhaler. My inhaler.
No, but I feel like what I was talking about is like all the hashtags, all the news were like Gen Z has done this, Gen Z have done this. But honestly, I feel like it was more of like the youth, as you have said. But like now that's what I was asking about. Like, why was it all like Gen Z have done this? Because I feel like everyone took a little bit of part in, because we're all youth and we're all being affected by this.
That is true.
But then that's the point, because like, where does youth start and end? You get what I'm saying?
35.
Because you see
35 to Malaysia. We're almost no longer the youth.
We are close.
Edit that part. Sitting in my youth. Sitting in my
First
youth.
of all, don't include me ever in your
With your grey strands, please zoom in on the grey strands.
Never.
Yeah.
So the issue is like, during the time when the young people, the youth, the Gen Zs were actually leading this protest, they came with the whole idea of no tribe, no tribalism.
Yes, tribeless.
Yeah.
And
Tribeless.
they came at a time where you see, like us millennials, I think like our parents were to Kalia sana. You get, we were not given the freedom to have the expression that these guys have right now. We're living in different generations. Different generations have different ways of doing things. These guys grew up with phones. They were able to mobilize large amounts of people using their phones. Every Tom, Dick and Harry has a phone now. Whether you're rich, whether you're from the ghetto, whether you're from there, kila mtu akona smartphone. Kama una smartphone, kuna shida. And we pray that your economic situation changes.
Yes,
in the mighty name of
amen.
Jesus.
To all of us.
So when you are telling people to
smartphone.
come to the gatherings, all the people with smartphones were mobilizing. And that includes millennials, because we are also phone people, also social media people. Tell me and David, I think we post too much. It's fake.
Speak for yourself, please. Like you said, don't put us in the same basket.
So
God forbid that girl is low-key.
The youth, I would say the youth and the millennials are somewhat youth, and so we mobilize, like what David said, underneath their leadership. And for us, it was a new phenomenon for us to follow the younger guys. But in our culture, especially African culture, we're supposed to follow the older people, right?
Yeah.
And so the younger people were the ones showing us the way. So some people were intimidated, like, we're not going to follow these ninjas. But at the end of the day, they're the ones who said, basically, we want accountability of our governance. That's all they asked.
And
those people should be doing their job simply and do it the right way, so that people get jobs, opportunities, using AI, for example, giving people opportunities.
True.
So the government was just held under a microscope. And yet our president didn't do anything to really address the issues. None of these things were even addressed.
But can we just talk about how like the Gen Z started this shit? No leadership, no political party, no movement.
Very
we
organic.
just started this from we just went from like TikTok challenges one time to tear gas the next moment.
True.
Like it was switcheroo and we were on that.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that I'll give to Gen Zs. You guys, when you say something, you follow through.
Yeah.
Like you say, we're on the streets tomorrow. Hey, Mazai, kesho, guys are on the streets, And I think for you guys, again, tapping into what Lenana has said with the organizational skills through social media and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, I had to join TikTok because that is where a lot of stuff was being organized. That is where, and I think that the civic education that was happening, that never happened with us guys. When a bill was being floated in Parliament, we'd only hear that, oh, X bill has passed, and this is what you guys are going to be put through. But with you guys, I got to learn about the fucking tax on cancer patients, tax on pads, and all these things that they wanted to do because of the civic education that you guys did. And it wasn't just about fun TikTok memes of Makarao and Ganyas and whatnot. You know, the way you guys organized through social media and used that as a tool, I think even the political class didn't know how to deal with you guys.
I don't want to give Gen Zs too much props because the technology was already laid out, right? For example,
but we didn't use it.
That's what I'm saying.
It was there, but we didn't use it.
We didn't.
So you have to give them their credit.
You don't give Kinafe.
We did have it. We had Facebook.
Okay, yeah, let me explain my point. Let me explain.
Yeah.
Your point is valid, but you know what happens is when different generations change, then the systems also change with them. You see, like transparency was not so available during our time. What I was saying is that you see, like right now, the technologies that allow us to see what the government is doing in a better way. So they can't hide like they used to. If you remember Goldenberg, right? They were stealing what? Billions at that time. Now, billions are stolen what? Daily. It has even a billion has become something small, new pocket change to them. And now, these young people have the technology to know what is going on. Didn't they steal money from Tanzania? Gen Z's with the technology they had. They said Kina Mwangi, what is his name? Boniface Mwangi, and these guys were tortured. They went and stole money from the Tanzanian fund and gave to orphanages. That technology makes the Gen Z more powerful. So, yes, they have skills. Yes, they were able, but the technology aided them.
Okay, so, but I feel like technology has been there for a while.
Exactly, and that is my point.
Let me just, it has been, because I feel like millennials have been there, and you guys have turned up, because I remember like there was this movement, my dress, my choice, all that, there was everything like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Gen Z with
and I took part in that protest too. Shout out, freedom fighter mwenyewe. Freedom fighter mwenyewe.
But with this starting from the finance bill and going forward to like everything that we've been fighting for, good governance, ending of unemployment, all that. I feel like we just took it to a notch higher.
You amplified it.
Yeah, we just amplified it, but I will not discredit like the role you guys played, because you guys, we were too rowdy, all that. So I feel like,
but sometimes that chaos is what's needed. That chaos is needed.
I feel like you guys cannot describe what we did.
Also, millennials were
out of the blue.
Can I be honest? A lot of millennials were partying way too much. We were some of us we were so drunk we just reached 30 without even knowing. I'm like, what?
We showed up drunk.
No.
Just to get back to the point. Just to get back to the point. Lenana, let me speak now. Let me speak. On the issue of you saying that yes, technology didn't exist for us and whatnot, I think it's an issue of a lot of millennials didn't have the interest when we were there. We didn't have the interest. So that is why I'm saying give credit where it's due to these guys. When they're 20s and I'm not going to disclose your age on air, but at your age, a lot of people my age, when we were your age, we didn't care about politics. But they're partying as well, but they still have an interest in politics. So what I'm saying is, in as much as you're saying that all technology is available to them now and whatnot, technology was there for us as well. Granted, not at the level that it is now, but there was also apathy, and that is what I brought back the point of, they've always talked about voter apathy, and that was the demographic of especially the middle class. The middle class and our age demographic, those guys were not out there in political struggle and whatnot. We'd hear about it, but we're like, I mazay, I knew also. But for these guys, they're like, nah, nigga, I mean, that shit is affecting me. So for them, they're like, yes, we know this is what's happening, and we're going to say something and do something about it. And what they did is amplify through the tools that they had. We had tools that were available, but when bars and barazas just not to the level. Don't get me twisted.
But I want to agree with the point where you said they have interest in their politics.
Yes, they do.
So we were letting our parents handle the political atmosphere.
But at the end of the day, you are an adult. You're not supposed to let your parents do that.
They're growing faster than us. Like, they see themselves as adults when we didn't see ourselves as adults. I agree with that point in some ways.
So let me ask a question on that note. So in that case, like right now,
Mhm.
what really prevented the millennials from showing up the same way the Gen Zs did?
Mhm.
Like, what was the problem? Was it like
Mhm.
fatigue, PTSD, or grown-up problems? What was
To
going
Lichapo, we
on?
were beaten thoroughly by our
What was
parents.
going on? Like, what
I think,
prevented y'all
Let me
from...
touch on that point. I think this generation see themselves as adults and more responsible at an earlier age. Most of you guys are moving out of your parents' homes early. You're paying bills. You're sorting out things. You guys are a lot more organized than we were. And I would say that not in terms of all millennials, but I'll talk maybe about my own issues. Like it took me a long time for me to start to realize I needed to be very independent from an early age. Now, a lot of us are playing catch up in our 30s to things that we should have been doing at around 23, 24. I'm not putting your age out. I'm just saying that like these young guys are very organized. Like even when you drink, you could be doing all these weird movements, mapangale, but somehow you guys will go home. Us guys used to be on benders for 5 days to narudi nyumbani. Wallet is gone, the shirt is looking like it's not shirting. And then you're wondering, like, these guys can drink, they go home and they get organized. So I think the generation that is the Gen Z now, some of you guys are very organized. I'm not going to say everybody because I know guys be wilding and we can't put every case in one.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of millennials, we partied until we woke up and said, hey, I should have been a manager at 26, 27. And that was when I'm getting that position. And that's not for all millennials. So I think you guys had you have a maturity to your partying, even for your drinking, and you guys know how to be organized. And we give you guys props for that. I'm not a Gen Z hater, by the way. It's not evil. As we ningelea kwa comment section until I'm a hater. Yeah.
Okay. But now we've talked about we've all gotten to the bottom line, we're fighting this, we're all mad. We're all in this, in short. So we're all mad about the bad governance, unemployment, taxes, all that, whatever is going on in the country. We're all mad about it. But we gotta zoom in a little bit. We gotta look deeper into it. And this got me thinking, what led us to this point? What kind of leadership or what point did we really get ourselves in this mess? Yeah. So I'm gonna ask a question to you, out of all the presidents we've had, which president do you think was the most progressive
Kibaki.
or least?
Moi Emilio Kibaki.
That
is the only correct answer to that question. The only correct answer.
I have only one wife. Yeah.
Yes.
And then Lucy was just there looking like this.
Yeah.
So remember that he held an entire press conference for the country to say he has no.
I have no sightings. Whoops.
Okay.
But yes, more Kibaki.
But I feel like I need some explanation because y'all just both too quickly, too fast agreed on Kibaki, and I feel like why don't we discuss the other president? What really happened? Why are you choosing Kibaki?
I mean, for me, I'll say it. I'm a history enthusiast as well, so I have studied. I wasn't there during Kenyatta's time. Despite the grey hairs. I was not there. Yeah.
How dare
I was not there during.
But then, I have actually a serious question.
Yeah.
Kwani hamkukunywa maziwa ya nyayo? Because I feel like that was a big deal.
No, there was let me put it this way. There was the maziwa ya nyayo, but I didn't live through that. Granted, because of the school that I went to. But anyway, what you asked me, the history that I've done is that I've gotten to know about some of the ills of Kenyatta, of Moi, and I got to experience a bit of Kibaki in the sense of by the time Kibaki was getting into power in 2002, I was fully aware of what was happening. I wasn't the person that I am.
You were almost in high school.
But I knew what was happening. I knew about
almost big born.
Oh, wow. You're about to give them your age.
Your parents were getting...
So for us, I got to see and the mood of the country when Moi was getting out of power. There's literally a song that to this day I remember, Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi, and there's a rendition of it that we hear these days, Yote Yawezekana Bila Ruto.
Yeah.
And even as bad as Uhuru was, I never got to a point where I had Yote Yawezekana Bila Uhuru. So the point that I'm trying to make is the switch between Moi and Kibaki was, I think, the one moment in Kenya where everyone was so united. I've never seen this country as united. Guys didn't give a damn whether they went in Kikuyu, went in Jaka, went in Kale. There was just this hope in a country that had been sat on by someone for 24 years.
And you know, like
24 years of one person. So at the change of leadership, even before he did anything, even before he got into office, just the hope that his presidency brought in itself outdid everything that Moi did for 24 years. Yeah, so, and thereafter, we got to see things being introduced like free education. You talked about maziwa ya Nyayo. I didn't drink that, but I think that's the only highlight of Moi's tenure.
I feel like that's what I've been hearing.
You won't hear people talk about roads. You won't hear people talk about he built an airport. It was maziwa ya Nyayo.
Let me add on to what David is saying. I also think that when Kibaki came into power, he wasn't like what do you call like somebody who's really good at speaking and is
an orator.
No, like you see like how Ruto has some kind of charisma. What is charisma? So Kibaki didn't have charisma like that, but he was an economist. So you would rather somebody who's not talking so nicely and actually does the work. The road networks that Kibaki puts together, let me not even add Uhuru yet to that. He puts together all the road. He kind of brought Kenya from the Stone Age to the New Age. All the roads that you see today that connect you from Kile to where, and he hired the Japanese who did the roads so fast compared to the Chinese. He's the first one who said that, hey, Kenyan, when we do the roads, we don't do them as fast. He connected Kenya to the 21st century. So as I was saying to Mr. Chibirege, I am not a big Moi supporter, and Moi, in many ways, was a dictator. And I was saying there's even a Cameroonian president who has been in power for 45 years. He's 93 and he wants to run again. Even in his country, Museveni is also a guy, and capture his face, he's also a guy that needs to go. So I have no issues with democracy allowing itself to grow and to participate. Like people need to have presidents that move and change because young people need to be represented in the power, in the presidency. You can't have an old man trying to lead young people. And that's one thing that maybe Moi didn't get right. He's overstayed his welcome. And that's why Kibaki was such a prominent leader for all of us.
And can I ask you a question? Isn't that a contradiction in itself? Because you say that old leaders and whatnot. Kibaki was how old when he took over? Yet he's our best president. Yeah, and then thereafter we switched to the young guys.
Yeah,
the young guys, Uhuru and Ruto.
Funny thing. Let me just cut it. Because you guys are saying young guys and you're talking about people who are like 60, 50.
Okay, in the context of leadership. In the context of leadership.
Yeah, I get all that and I get all that. But I'm like, all in all, it's just like potato. You see what you guys are arguing about. So I'm like, I actually have like a question.
Get into it.
So I want to actually ask like, okay, Kenya has been like in the woodlands for a while. And like I just wanna ask like, do you guys think Kenya will be a better place if let's say we got a foreign politician from like a first world country?
Excuse me.
No, just hear me out.
Yes, please explain yourself.
No,
please explain yourself. Because what are you saying?
Hear me out. A politician from a first world, like let's say
that already happened. It was called colonialism. They came. Chill. That happened.
Not like colonialism. Just coming. No, just chill. Not colonialism.
Please save yourself.
Just like coming to like try and develop the country, get us out of debt. Do all that for the country.
No, we can do it ourselves.
Really come to we've been trying to do it for ourselves for 45 years and clearly we can't.
No, we have not been trying to do it for ourselves because those in power have not been trying to do that. Those in power have been self-serving politicians.
But they haven't been voting for themselves.
That is true. That is what I'm attempting to do, so kindly. So, first of all, I take the biggest issue with you advocating for a foreigner coming to solve our issues. Let me
quick
cook.
Question,
let me cook.
Okay.
So, like I said, that already happened. We had colonialism. We had foreign powers who came to govern us because they said the African was too backward. The African was too uncivilized. We had that already. And granted, I can see why, and let me play the devil's advocate here. I'd see why someone could advocate for such a system of governance, because the youngest country in terms of when they got their independence, South Africa, who remained under European rule for the longest, are the most developed country in Africa. So I can see why one would say that. But in the same breath, I can see why I'd say fuck that shit. Because we did have progressive leaders like the likes of Sankara. We did have progressive leaders. Granted, they were killed. And I see what you're saying, that these people that we've elected, they've done nothing and they've been elected by us. What you're trying to say is that, yes, we do need progressive leaders, but I think it comes back to the electorate. Let's not look outside for solutions to things that we can't do. I do get your point in what you said, that David, you're saying that these leaders who've been there have been self-serving, who has elected them. It's us who elected them. And yes, for the most part, yes, we are horrible at choosing leaders. Because for the past 15 or 10, 12 years, we have been governed by ICC indictees, So yes, we can do better in that regard, but fuck going to foreigners to govern us. That I take issue with, So
Okay,
maybe
so
you
let me
tell
chime
us.
in also as well, because I think you see the whole conceptualization of colonialism was the Mzungus telling us they could lead us better. And there's that quote by, I think, Desmond Tutu, that says that they brought the Bibles, and then when we were praying, we closed our eyes, they took the land and gave us the Bibles. So Africa needs African solutions. Who cast Africa in terms of our leaders? Some of these leaders lead our countries like it's their own playground, it's their own children. Somebody told me that even like Ruto is not a leader, he doesn't need to be a leader because he's advocating for him and himself. And so most African leaders, they are normally so sweet to us when they are campaigning. It's like that picture of the wolf and the sheep. Once I become in power, I will do all these things for you. I'll provide jobs, I will provide education. And once they get there, they take advantage of people's lack of education. They steal money for themselves. They pocket billions. Name one job where in Africa you get a government position and your children's children are rich for life. Generational wealth in Akuja in 3 or 4 salaries. Tell me where. Are they not supposed to be receiving salaries like every other job, civil servants? And leaders in Africa forget servant leadership. You work for the people, not the people work for you. That's the biggest problem in Africa. We serve the leaders. And so when that changes, Africa doesn't need foreign leaders. We need African-based solutions. Just like we were talking about the Gen Zs earlier, the youth need opportunities in governance because they know technology and they know what is needed for ground. So we need African solutions. Foreigners are even eating. Look at France. France is using the colonies in West Africa. They are still using the minerals since colonial days, and they are still benefiting. So the West has nothing good for Africa. In fact, my last point, they are the ones who are draining us of our resources. In fact, we need to get foreign influence out. Just like David was saying, the Kira Sankaras, all those guys who had visions for Africa, Gaddafi, and I'll put it out there, Gaddafi had vision. All of them were killed because they wanted to unite Africa. So I love your question, and I think Africa should unite.
Yeah, I agree that Africa should unite. But I feel like continuously, all through Africa, I'm talking about the whole of Africa, like we've all been making some choices that are very questionable. And it's not even about that, it's just like, let me cook my point. My point was like, okay, when Africa were being represented out there, for example, President Trump called African countries shithole countries. Yeah, exactly.
And for the most part, he was right.
Yeah, for the most part, he was right. Like, how African countries we go and represent ourselves out there, we do look like shithole countries.
True.
Yeah. Which is a matter of fact, when you come down here and look at us, we're not really shithole countries. It's just the people that represent us.
Yeah.
That is true. And also, like, there was also another thing that I took offense. I think it was Trump telling like the president of Libya that he has good English.
Good English, yeah, I saw
Liberia.
Liberia, yeah. He
That's
was saying,
ridiculous.
yeah, Ati, you have good English. Where did you study it? And I'm like, we actually do study English in Africa. It's just that the people we vote for somehow, I don't know, like, You see? So that is actually what brought me around this point. Like, I'm like, what if we get someone who can actually represent us, the people who are actually building Africa, to represent Africa the way Africa is actually working to be.
I think I do get your point, and I think one thing that has always beguiled us as a continent is we have this illusion of choice. Whenever we're presented with a choice, it's not A and B. It's basically we have to choose the lesser evil. For the most part, in every election that we've had here in Kenya, it has always been to choose the lesser evil, because we know that both these people are not fit to be our leaders, but they're the only leaders that we've had for a long time. I mean, right now we have the likes of Okia Omtata and Maraga coming up, and I hope that people actually do give them the time of day and will hear them out as they articulate the policies and what they have planned for Kenya. But back to also another point that you said, the leadership that we've had there, because I think you even said that we should elect more youthful leaders. If you look at the youthful leaders that we have right now, because we do have youth representation.
Yeah, but like, it always get mixed up. Yes, so, it always get mixed up with you see, I must start where you left off with Sakaja. Like,
Karen Nyamu always shaking her ass.
Karen Nyamu. I appreciate
I like her shaking her ass.
You guys,
I don't mind, but she's a leader.
Gen Z, you're all like leaders, good leaders, whatever y'all are. Y'all doing good at job.
Because we even have Kasmol.
Like, how you?
Kasmol is
how you? But like, you see how you're representing Kenya, because I feel like in Kenya, being a politician is not that different from being a celebrity or an influencer. Because right now, if you look at Karen Nyamu and like Ambare or Diana, there is really very little of a difference.
True.
But like, which I am not saying that, honestly, I'm not saying that in defense or in attacking Karen Nyamu or anything, but I'm just like, I feel like Kenya, we should get leaders who are actually more focused on like the system and doing right, and not focusing on like social media. Like, I feel like, you see, like how like the system, the constitution, the law is followed to a T and all that. I feel like, what if we get, because you see like how the states, like, if you're being arrested, you have to be read for all your rights, and you have to like attest that you were read for all your rights. I feel like we should try and adapt some like that in Kenya. Like, I'm not saying to the T, we don't need to adapt it to the T, because always we're going to be us, Africa, always going to be Africa, you know? But like,
okay, let me add on to your point. Because for me, I actually lived almost 8 years in the States. And you see, the problem with a lot of Americans is there's something in political science that's called soft politics. Basically, what they do is they use movies and other things to project their power, like how America always saves the day, for example. So they live in a state of ignorance to Africa. And it's not really their job to know. It's our job to educate them on what is happening. Right now, there's a huge movement for African Americans and Africans. And a lot of African Americans are traveling to Kenya. Like Kelly's, for example, is in Kenya. She's doing a lot of big things in Kenya. She's educating African Americans and trying to remove that.
Is she though? I take issue with Kelly's here, but anyway.
At the end of the day, Africa has we're in charge of changing our own image, right? You can't come to somebody's home and expect them to be the ones to change that image from internally. You're supposed to be the ones to do it progressively from our side. And then on top of that, what you were saying is that we elect popular fools to lead us. These are like celebrities. Most of these guys don't work. And the reason why they're afraid of Gen Zs is Gen Zs are asking for accountability. Unafanya nini kwa hiyo office? MPs in Kenya are the highest paid. MPs in Kenya are the highest paid, and the least amount of people are working like in their offices, in parliament. Some of them, they only know how to steal and corrupt. They are actually experts at that. And so we now as millennials and Gen Zs are asking them accountability when I do the office. And we require these people to start showing receipts of the work they're doing. So Faith's question is very poignant. We need to have leaders who are not just celebrities. And people need to stop being, what do you call that word? When they get so sensationalized by stupid things that people say. like let's say Kina Karenyam or somebody, they go and do something funny on social media and people are laughing, and yet you are suffering on ground. You're not worried about whether jobs are being created. You're just having like a politician come as a celebrity. He's making you laugh.
Being a politician is not being an influencer. Can I please state that? Like, let me just say, being a politician in Kenya, being part of the government is not being an influencer, is not being popular. Like, you just gotta put in the work.
We need real leaders.
We need real leaders. Like, I was about to say real leaders.
But also, we need real readers as well. People need to read. What was over?
Yeah, so everything is all well good, well okay. Yeah. We're just asking how we'll progress slowly and how we'll change everything. We gotta work this out, one opinion to another opinion, and combining all our knowledge as Gen Zs, Millennials, Boomers, Gen X, whatever.
All of them.
Yeah, if we combine everyone who's alive in Kenya right now, I feel like we can come to a conclusion that will serve Kenya to the best.
Yes.
And I feel like that is what we are all looking for. And that is actually the main goal and the main thing we all want.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but other than that, I feel like those are our pennies of thoughts.
Our few words.
Yeah, pennies of thoughts. And we might continue this conversation, get us to like 5K likes, and
follow us on social media.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We got y'all. We're gonna keep it real. I, as Marara, your Gen Z host, gonna get better with my 2 millennials.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get better. We're gonna get better, and we're gonna represent your voice to the fullest. So, that has been it for this episode, guys. Follow us for more. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want. Follow us up at the Inside Scoop Pod. Yeah, to hear some more views.
The episode was sponsored by Katepa.
Kachai kako.
Inside Scoop Green, all day, always. And
Top shot.
Catch you next time.